in the world. Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah, there's no mercy in this world, just hunger.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another NCAA women's basketball competition, especially for the to kick off Elite Eight after we saw Iowa, let's put on a performance of a lifetime. So now, obviously, the Iowa right now is probably watching this game. You know, say they can take on the number 2 seed Maryland Terrapins, or the undefeated number 1 seed South Carolina Gamecocks, led by Aaliyah Boston, Zia Cook, and the rest of the company as well. Before we get into it, if you guys are new, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to get ready for tip-off in just a moment. So I appreciate anyone who's going to come in as well. So right now, South Carolina's coming in this one at 35-0, taking on the 29-6 Maryland Terrapins with SEC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, Aaliyah Boston, who is obviously, we are going to be live for the WNBA draft, who was projected to be the number 1 overall pick, but then again, we've seen some other players kind of, I guess you could say, where they could probably prove a point or make a case to be the number 1 overall pick. But I think realistically, I really do think Leah Boston is going to be the number 1 overall pick. But regardless, so we're going to get ready for tip-off. So get the scoreboard up and running for y'all. So but yes, the last Final Four for between those two teams, you had Maryland back in 2015. Then you had South Carolina, who obviously last year won the entire goddamn thing. So and Zia Cook, she's another one that could be a very good complementary piece too. Not just that, complementary piece too. Aaliyah Boston, even though they got a really good and I think sometimes people think South Carolina, the women's team, is like kind of overrated and whatnot. And in South Carolina, they can beat you, and I think in a couple different ways. Obviously, you have a really good deep bench depth. No matter if they blow you out or not, they're still going to wind up beating you anyway. And you also still got some good defense. Like I said, Bria Beals, another one that's very looking at that. And obviously now should be getting ready for tip-off just very soon. So right now, look at the last 5 games, especially for Maryland. They outscored Notre Dame 76-59 on March 25th. Or actually, kind of started off at the Florida Alumni. Actually, let me rephrase that a little bit. So Maryland, the last 5, they went 4-1 of their last 5 games. The only loss came to Iowa, losing 89-84. And to be quite fair, though, they're playing in the Big Ten, even though the Big Ten, from my understanding, from when I've seen some Big Ten, when I watch some big, not just in basketball, but just in football in general, the Big Ten conference, it's not great, but it's a decent conference in terms of competition-wise. But it still doesn't hold up as well as, like, say, the SEC, or I guess you could say the Pac-12 as well, and stuff like that. But regardless, look, Maryland, they finished. Right now, they finished, what, 15-3 overall. They're 15-3 in the conference, in their own conference, 28-6 overall, though. So, obviously, so this streak is on the line tonight for South Carolina. 41 straight wins, which is 8th longest in Division I history. 8 straight wins by double digits, which is tied for its longest in over 5 seasons, and it has 81 straight games while holding opponents' underscoring average, which is crazy to say. But then Angel Gray kind of getting her words in with Maryland's head coach Brenda Freese, or how do I? No apologies for the mispronunciation of her name. So, but appreciate one that's coming in though. Like I said, we're almost getting close to tip off. Because you know how primetime games are, you want to hold it off a back and stuff like that, and get through the interviews and stuff like that. But regardless, South Carolina, they pretty much went undefeated their last 5, defeating UCLA 59-43. Blew out USF in their first matchup of the, I think, in the round of 32, I think, or Sweet 16 or not. Yeah, Sweet 16. Sorry, I had my brain. But regardless, then also you have Diamond Miller, who's another WNBA draft prospect right now since February 1st for Maryland, already averaging 21.3 points per game for the Maryland Terrapins. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good game just to take a look at so far. I mean, also some other news. We saw that if you're a Texas fan, Texas basketball, might I add, you guys got yourself a good head coach in Rodney Terry, who reaches a deal, a 5-year deal with the Texas Longhorns. Was their interim for most of this playoff or this tournament run. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun, a lot to see, but it's gonna be interesting to see because like I said, and if you look at the last game that South Carolina has played. Yes, I mean, yes, I know it's kind of ironic for me, who's a longtime Clemson fan, that I remember anyways. But I have to give South Carolina sometimes its respect where it is due. Yes, yes, and football is still kind of annoys me that we did. Drop that game against towards the end of the year, which was ridiculous, but that's besides the point. But it's a different sport nonetheless. But South Carolina, though, in terms of the women's basketball, I mean, gotta love Dawn Staley. I mean, hometown Philly native, man, she knows how to bring it with these ladies. Knowing that, counter with the fact that you also have some of the senior class, which it's going to be a different look for South Carolina. Knowing that with Aaliyah Boston could be number 1 coach to the Indiana Fever. But what's good, Ron? What's good, my guy? As well. But yeah, I mean, if you do follow the WNBA, I mean, which now I'm starting to go to do a lot more. I'm going to have my buddy Coach Ed Gladney on, who also follows the WNBA as well. Obviously, you sure you want to do that, Arku? I mean, after what the maps have been through, I would say. But regardless, like I said, not going to really. I'm good. Yeah, big test, for sure. But we'll do a chance. But yeah, we'll get a little bit talk for a little bit before the game, before tip off, I should say. It's gonna be fun. I think this game's gonna be fun. It depends. It's like who's gonna be the best team or the best team win. Is what's most likely, for lack of a better term. But I will say, because like I said. This game, I think, is going to be important for both teams, but I think what in particular is for South Carolina, they want to keep that undefeated streak going, which, well, we'll see. Sometimes it is, and I will admit, it is going to be a hard thing to go into, going undefeated in basketball. Like I said, just going undefeated in sports in general is the hardest thing to do. Now, if it's football, basketball, baseball, that remains to be seen, to be quite honest. And but yeah, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at so far. All right, looks like we're getting ready for, or I say not tip off, but looks like we're getting to the lineups. Alrighty. Yes. All right. So the last game that we didn't stream, but I did watch. I thought that was fantastic. Was Iowa really going to the first Final Four? Was since 1993? That's tough. That's crazy though. Like how a team like Iowa had, for the women's team has not really done. Really, I would say who really just handled Louisville with no issues whatsoever. Alrighty. Okie dokie. We got Beth Mowens and Debbie Antonelli on the call. Well, we're also coming to you live as well here on the Philly Sports Talk podcast. And also check out the link in the description down below for the All-Star Sports Network as well. We are coming to you live from over there as well. And also from Let's Talk Sports and the Hardcore Sports as well. So we're now kind of go over, I think they're just kind of go over Leah Boston, who kind of been the most talked about prospect in terms of the WNBA draft. Obviously, could be a potential number one going to the Fever. You also got Diamond Miller, who's also part of this draft class. Well, same with Maddie Seegers, who just declared earlier this afternoon after pretty much having a game of her career. Boston right now, number 4 at the forward for South Carolina. Also, I think acts like a center as well. It's a 4-time AP All-American, 2021, 22 National Player of the Year, and a 2-time SEC Player of the Year. It's going to be interesting to see. And now, Battle of the Prospects is basically what this game is going to be about. With Aaliyah Boston for South Carolina and Diamond Miller, who's been, I would say, not really as talked about as much, but projected to. I've seen some mock drafts where she'd be projected, somewhere in the top 5 in terms of the prospect ranking, or I'm sorry, not rankings, but in terms of the draft picks in that sense. But we'll see how this goes come April 10th. All right. So I wish they actually can find a way to. All right, let me refresh. All right. Oh God. So. Okie dokie. I say that right now talking about Maryland. Actually had a preseason team retreat, went to a Caverns tour, did a Turf Olympics. Interesting. Okay then. So obviously, for those who are kind of new to the women's college basketball, you also it's obviously four quarters or 10 minutes. So now we're going to get. So South Carolina in the home white and the Terrapins and they're black, and South Carolina, Maryland actually will win the tip-off here. We got number 12 going down the outside to Miller up to the basket. Easy deuce for Maryland. Already up to. So the starting 5 for the South Carolina Gamecocks got Sia Cook, Leah Boston, Victoria Saxon, Bria Beal, and Kiara Fletcher. Boston in the post, and that is good by Leah Boston putting it up for 2. Now, hopefully for the Maryland starting 5 for the Terrapins, got Shea Sellers, Diamond Miller, Abby Myers, Eliza Pizat, and Faith Masonius. And that's Myers to the basket. Oh, that is good for 2. All right, Aubrey. I mean, pretty much what he say that for the. And now we got to Cook. Now we got Fletcher on the outside on the top of the perimeter. Gets a screen here. Now trying to find an open teammate here. Now. And to the basket. That is short, but Fletcher with the rebound. Hands up to Cook. She pulls up for 3. That is a bit short. And that's going to be South Carolina basketball with 8:38 remaining here. It's a 2-point game so far. So obviously, Brenda Fries in her 21st season as the Maryland head coach and also has a national title under her belt from 2006. All right, Boston gets the inbound and now gets the handoff here. Boston Nice ball movement, and we get a foul on the floor, and that's going to be the first team foul on Maryland. So obviously Dawn Staley, her 15th season as a head coach of South Carolina, two-time national champion, 2017 to 2022. I mean, she's done really some good success with her time at South Carolina. Now we get an inbounds to Boston. Now she pulls up for two with a decent mid-range. Cannot get that to finish. So it looks like Miller with the rebound. And here come the Terrapins. And easy shot. That is no good. And rebound goes to Leah Boston. Hands off to Zia Cook. Or so that's Fletcher. Now hands off to Cook on the handoff. So Cook now to Boston. Boston fighting for the tough screen. Knocks one defender down. Up for two. Gets the friendly roll. Tied up. Gets that shot to fall at 4 points apiece. And tough shot. That's blocked. It looks like by Zia Cook. And Cook leading the fast break for the Gamecocks. Now kind of have to pull up right now. Or so that's Fletcher to the basket. And gets the roll. And South Carolina takes a 2-point lead over the Terrapins. 7:37 remaining here in the first quarter. So now it looks like got Miller. Now gets a screen. Miller thought about a three. She drives to the basket with Fletcher and will draw the contact. And that's going to be the first team foul on South Carolina. So Leah Boston, and obviously they're showing that her ESPN WA mock draft isn't predicted to be the number one overall pick. And the first free throw by Miller, Tyler Miller actually misses, is no good. And the second free throw attempt, it is good. All right, so to Fletcher by Zia Cook, almost a tempting pass, but managed to get over there. So now we got Cook and steps on the baseline and turns the basketball over to Maryland. With 7:17 remaining here in the first. Damn. Oh, easy spin for number 5. Cannot get the finish, and Zia Cook with the rebound. Now Cook, and there's going to be the second team foul on Maryland. Okay. So looks like Diamond Miller's going to take a bit of a rest along with Myers. So right now, the points in the paint, that's still in favor of South Carolina because most of the points came in from the paint. So now we got number 12 to inbound it for South Carolina. We'll give it to Boston. So now it looks like that Fletcher to Sachs in the post. Tough shot and gets the finish. 3-point lead for the Lady Gamecocks. That's 6-4, and that's Victoria Saxon or Victoria. There's 665 games. There's a record open 3 from Maryland that cannot finish, and the offensive rebound, that rebound attempt, and that's going to be still Maryland basketball. And then it looked like that rebound was trying to be attempted by Myers. Now we get an inbound to Myers. Now a quick dribble handoff. Tough shot. Cannot finish. And rebound goes to Boston. Now here comes Fletcher taking it up the court. Now hands off to Boston. Now Boston gets handoff back. Tough defense off the baseline. Kicks up to Zia Cook. Thought about a 3 in the corner. And we'll draw the contact. And that's going to be the third team foul on Maryland. And that's another thing, too, with South Carolina. They can beat you in so many ways, offensively and defensively. And Saxon will inbound it to Boston. Now gets it out. Gets it right back to Boston. Now to Fletcher. Fletcher to number 12. Now to Boston. Boston dropped with a double team. So that's number 12 for the 3, and that is good. I say it's a deep. That was Bree Beal on the 3. Okay, so that's a 6-point game. So we got Miller, tight defense by here. Now he gets the handoff to Myers. And that is picked away by Bria Beal, and she's taking the lead, the fast break, and cannot get the offensive rebound by Saxon, and puts it back up, cannot finish, and fight for the ball, and here comes Simon Miller on the 1-on-2 fast break it, and we have to pull up. Now, and Boston right now looks like she's kind of having her eye on Miller on the outside. And to the basket, good for 2 by Myers to cut it down to 4. So about 5 minutes. So Abby Myers already now 2 or 4 from the floor with 4 points. And then we got Fletcher now kind of directing traffic on the top of the key. And drawing a double team. Now kicks out to Zaya Cook. Cook's already got 10 seconds on the shot clock to Boston. She pulls up for 2 in a nice mid-range. Good for 2 by Aaliyah Boston. And Aaliyah Boston, which she can give you, though, which I'll talk about in just a second. So now we got Myers. Now gets a hand up to number 12. And that's a wide open 3. That is easy money for Maryland. And that was Myers for 3. Now we got Beal kind of put the brakes on. And that is taken away by Beal. And here comes a solo fast break. And that is good for 2. 1-point game. 4 minutes remaining here in the first quarter for the Lady Terrapins. So now we got Fletcher now kind of directing traffic. Drawing a double team. And Saxon to the bucket. Tough shot. Can't finish. Okay, so Maryland kind of holding their own so far. So right now, South Carolina 6 for 12. So both teams are 50% from the floor so far to start off under 3.5. And that is good for 2. So Maryland retakes the lead. And now hands it up to Cook. Spring Breeze were pretty much their primary scorer. And Fletcher, tight defense on her on the perimeter. And that we got a jump ball at 3:06 remaining here in the first. Okay, so okie dokie. All right, that takes us to the commercial break. So, like I said, with a Boston though, she can give you 20 plus if she wanted to, but most of the time she'll be, offensively she's more like a facilitator than anything else. Like she can give you a lot of assists and be a rebounding machine. And she's a fucking dog. Like she's already got 81 career double doubles and stuff like that. And there are times where she may not have a high scoring total, which, I mean, to be quite honest, some women basketball fans don't really mind because I don't think that's really part of Aaliyah Boston's game, but she can score if she wanted to. I mean, she does have that scoring ability, but not as well, like in a sense, how a point guard would score and stuff like that. And I think that's what I think. I think something like the Fever could use someone like an Aaliyah Boston. If she can give you, say, I don't know, see if she gives like 10 or 15 a night, like that's kind of like an average, scoring day for her. But she'll probably give you a lot of assists, a couple of block shots here and there. She'll give you a lot of different stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of my takeaway on it. But yeah, that's just kind of how my takeaway on it from Aaliyah Boston, and kind of like a short sample size, and plus from what I've been hearing about her as well. But yeah, and like I mentioned before, earlier this afternoon we saw Maddie Segrist, who Lesper had one of the Lesper outside of her, I think her Sweet 16 game against FGCU. She's a scoring machine. Now, it would be interesting to see who's going to take her, but I will say I have seen projections where I've seen Boston go to the Fever and I see Maddie Segrist go to the Washington Mystics, But then again, we'll see. Like usually, those mock drafts usually are never for certain most of the time. But if you get somehow get a perfect mock draft, I mean, it is what it is. But that's the way that I looked at it. That's how I see it. But look, Maddie Siegrist, I think whoever's going to get her, I think they're going to get a fine player, great scoring ability. She can do a lot, and she can block shots too, which is crazy for. I mean, at the 6'2", I think she's. But I mean, I think that's what she can give you. You know, it's like I said, I'm not a huge basketball nerd by any such means, so I can't give like stats and stuff like that. But the thing with Maddie Siegrist, like she can give you 20, 25 plus, sometimes 30 plus if you're lucky. If she's really honest, she can give you like 30 plus to almost 35 a night. She's that kind of player. But we are back from commercial break. We're getting all access with head coach Brandon Freese, kind of give like a bit of a speech before the game, like a pregame speech, but say, you know, you can pretty much beat this team, or if you hold your own, you can beat this team in 40 minutes. And I will say, you know, we've seen teams that have pushed South Carolina to their limit. We have seen that. I've watched a couple of games. I've seen some teams that actually have taken South Carolina to their limit. Oh, man. All right, quick bang. And that's still going to be – now that's going to – so it looks like that's going to – so how to beat South Carolina 1-on-1 to the post. Yeah, they use all 5 scores to paint up ball pressure and just believe. So that's how they – so we got Meyer – that's number 2. Now to Miller. Miller to the basket. Drives to the basket. Cannot finish. And offensive and it looks like we might have an over-the-back foul on South Carolina. That might be their second. And we got Camila Caruso, who's another one I've been very intriguing about, sitting at 6'7". So, and she's another, I guess you could say, a big woman coming off the bench. And that's the thing to do with South Carolina too. But quick three, and that is good. So it's a 4-point lead for the Maryland Terrapins. But going back to myself with Caruso, though, she can, like I said, scoring ability. She can block shots. And that's going to be another turnover by the South Carolina Gamecocks. Okay. And that was Lavender Briggs on the 3. So here we go. So now we're going to have quick, let's say 1-on-1 pressure. So a 10-0 run in the last 2.5 minutes for the Terrapins. So 7 for 13 off the floor, 6 for 13 for South Carolina. So Miller trying to direct traffic off the perimeter. Will drive to the basket. Will pump fake and will gets her own rebound, puts it up, and that's blocked. And that's going to be a foul on South Carolina. And that's going to be the third team foul. And that's something something you do not want to have. I will admit that. And that's something you don't want to see too. So Diamond Miller to the line for 2. And the first by Miller, it is good. So the Elite 8 for the Women's March Madness continues tonight. And you have the Final 4 on Friday and the championship on Sunday. So both free throws are good by Diamond Miller. So now we got Cook. Now backed. Oh, try to get around a couple. Now the triple team. That's something I think that's, and hands off to Caruso, and that's going to be easy too. So it'll be 2 free throws coming up for South Carolina with about 1 minute 50 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 1 minute 50 seconds. And LSU, could be another team that could potentially, I would say, give. So now we got number 15 for the line. And the first free throw is good by but Caitlin Clark, man, that's one special talent. And both free throws are good, and looks like we might. So Iowa Clark last night against Louisville, 41 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists last night against the Terrapins, against the Yeah, what up, Randy? If you want to come on, dude, I can give you the link. And that is Briggs. And, that's picked away by number 23. Now gives it to Zaya Cookie. Will drive to the basket, hands it off, and Caruso, and that's going to be an offensive. That's going to be a charge. So Myers takes a charge. Ooh, I guess a 6'7" Caleb Caruso. Okay. I'm sorry, that was Zaya Cook with the offensive foul. So that could be a little bit costly, but then we'll see how that goes. So Zaya Cook, that's the first on Cook, and obviously both teams are in the bonus. But South Carolina, 5 turnovers to the Terrapins 2. So Diamond Miller to the basket, and she loses the basketball, and that's going to be the 3rd turnover. Dude, she's gonna put that WNBA on notice. I know for a fact that she will. Dude, her game is fantastic. Look, she may not be she may be a pure scorer though. And Zaya Cook, oh, that's almost another turnover by the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now hands it all to number 23. Now done almost. And Zaya Cook around the screen. She had the pull up from mid-range. That cannot finish. Nice offensive rebound by Caruso. Cannot get that to fall. But here we go. And Myers now out to number 0 with Diamond Miller. And that's going to be a traveling violation on Maryland with 38.2 remaining. But now we got Zaya Cook. Now hands it all to number 23. Gets it right back. And Cook, man, it looks like it's just a half-court pressure by the Terrapins. Now hands it off to number 15. Now back to Zaya Cook. Now it looks like to 23 to Caruso in the post and cannot finish. And we get a foul on the floor that might be going against Maryland. And that was Brigg. Oh, jeez. That's their... So both teams are in the bonus. So they got... So we got number 13 to the line for 2 free throws. And the first free throw is good, so it's a 5-point lead. We got 12.8 remaining. So now we're going to be down to the final 10 seconds here. What up, John Mel? And cannot get the friendly roll. And that's blocked. And that first quarter comes to a close. So Maryland outscores the South Carolina Gamecocks 20-15 going into the second quarter. So Brenda Free. So we're going to the commercial break, though. But shout out to everyone that's been in the chat, though. If you guys are new, make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure to check out the All Star Sports Network is linked down below or in the pinned comment as well. But Maryland, the number 2 seed, right now being a little stingy with the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Very impressive, very interesting. Very interesting to see. Because usually most of the time we've seen South Carolina just let's be real, beat the living crap out of other teams. I mean, that's just how good South Carolina is. Now, granted, people are going to say, thank God I don't not seen that cupcake excuse schedule because let's be real, the SEC, no matter if it's in the men's or the women's sports, it's very competitive. Good. Shout out to Key. But yeah, that is very surprising that Maryland's up 20-15 over the Lady Gamecocks, which is, to be fair, and I think based on the fact that, yes, I mean, there's also, the turnovers which South Carolina really sometimes they have a tendency to be, there's going to be some games where they are, sometimes never turn the basketball over, but early to start like this, not what I would expect it for a team, a number one seed like the South Carolina Gamecocks, especially with Leah Boston, Zaya Cook, Kayla Caruso is another one I'm very intrigued by, you know, as well. Because like I said, they got a good deep senior class so far this year. This I'm fantastic. Greg and John. Right now we are, like I said, we're in a commercial break right now with Maryland up 20-15 so far through one quarter of play. But like I said, then again, like I said, basketball. It's funny like how people think, because even though like the game of basketball is all about run stuff like that. If a team goes cold on a cold streak or cold run, I should say, and you have a team like South Carolina who, at times I've seen where they actually sometimes have to play from behind through, like I say, like 1 or 2 quarters of play. For me, I wouldn't, as much as I hate to say it. I mean, and I respect these ladies' games in South Carolina. I'm going with South Carolina, even though I'm a long-time Clemson fan, because let's be real, that's one of my biggest rivals in terms of college football. But with Nova out, losing to Miami, though, which is very upsetting. But then again, beggars can't be choosers. But then again, like I said, you have the Cavaliers win. And look, Maddie Secrets, she went out as best as she could. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. So for me, I guess South Carolina, like I said, I pretty much have South Carolina winning this entire tournament. Just because I feel like they have more experience than I think pretty much than anybody else. Now, granted, if South Carolina does win, they're going to run into, I would say, a bit of a, pretty much a scrappy Iowa team. Now, where I think with Iowa, though, I think the one thing you don't want to do with Iowa, you cannot let Caitlin Clark get open, because we've seen this time and time again, not just in the regular, even the regular season, you cannot let Caitlin Clark get open. She is dangerous from behind the arc. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. As much as a longtime Clemson fan, I really hate rooting off for South Carolina, but I have to respect these ladies' games, man. I really do. And Dawn Staley, she's the best. She's the best that they come with, in my honest opinion, anyways. But that's just me. That's the way how I kind of look at it. But shout out to everybody that's been in the chat, though, man. So actually, no, it's actually 21-15. God. Okay, so thank you. So they actually fixed the scoreboard. So right now it's been, I would say, a slow start for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, though. So both teams right now, 6-point games. But now we got Myers to inbounder for the Terrapins. And now we'll get it off to number 3. Goddamn, I cannot see where the damn, because the graphic. So tough defense by South Carolina. Now was and that is going to be the first. Jeez, already quick first foul by Aaliyah Boston by the looks of it. At 9:46, 9:46 remaining. I don't know. I don't know about that one. And I know Staley is not too happy about that. Well, we got number 20. So we got McDaniel right now to the line for 2. And the first free throw attempt, it is a little bit strong off the back iron, but no good. So South Carolina already down 6 through, like I said, very unusual to see South Carolina be like this. But no, both free throws are no good, and that's going to be. So a foul. So we look at a loose ball foul. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. And that is the first team foul for. So now we got Fletcher. Now to Beal. Beal, tough defense in her face. Kicks out to Boston. And Boston picks up the rebound and gets to push the put back for 2. Now cut it down to 4 under 9.5 to play. And that's off the foot. Let's see, off of Diamond Miller by the looks of it. And that's the 4th turnover by the Lady Terrapins. As well. So Boston right now like I said, I'll talk more then on halftime. But both teams even 10 points in the paint. Saxon, nice put back for two. Now it's a 2-point game. So that is 12 points in the paint overall for the Lady Gamecocks. It's Victoria Saxon, 2 for 3 from the floor for 4 points. Really another well-established. It looks like we have offensive foul on Maryland. So that's a second personal, team second on Sellers, but here we go. So we've got 9 minutes here. So Cheyenne Sellers, that's the ugly start for her. So now we got Fletcher. Now it's like to Beal, try to find but that's number 25. Who is 25? And then we'll hand it off to Beal. Beal now to Fletcher. Fletcher now to 25. Off the baseline, cannot finish. And Leah Boston tried to get the put back, but it looks she might be going to the line for 2 free throws. 8:35 remaining here. But looks like Diamond Miller to the bench. So we got number 25 for South Carolina to the line for 2 free throws. That's her second foul on Miller, and the first free throw is no good. That's something you do not want to see. And that's just kind of ugly. And that is good. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. 1-point game. So now we got Miller already now sitting with 2 fouls. So right now, Maryland foul trouble. Sellers and Miller. And tough defense by the Gamecocks. Let's say, nice pump fake to get Boston off her feet. And that layup is good for 2. Back to a 3-point game. 8 minutes, 13 seconds here. And that was Masonius off the floor. And Boston, tough defense, cannot get the putback. And that's another offensive rebound by the Terrapins. Okay, this is interesting. That the Terrapins right now holding 3 under 8 minutes to play. And Beal almost took that away for South Carolina. And Myers to the basket. Cannot finish. Rebound goes to Beal. And she's leading the fast break on a 3-on-2 to the basket. And it's a blocking call. And that's going to be the third team foul on Maryland. So Maryland right now I have a couple players right now in foul trouble. That, like I said, that is Cheyenne Sellers and Diamond Miller. Like I said, Miller, another lady that's coming that could potentially declare for the WNBA draft, which is because we only seen one already declared, that was Maddie Wheeler or Maddie Segrist. My apologies. But Beal for the first three. Jesus, that is no good. So Bree Beal with the second free throw could cut it down to 2. And the free throw is short. And Saxon fights for the rebound, and that's going to be out of bounds. South Carolina basketball. Okay. Okie dokie. So we're going to get some substitutions here. So looks like Alexander's going to sit on the bench. So Fletcher now to Boston. Looks like out to, it's like 25. Tough shot, but going to the line for 2. To try to cut this deficit down to a 1-point game. So Alexander, so you have 3 of the top players right now in foul trouble, which is not something you want to see, especially if you're a good team like Maryland, like I said, only the number 2 seed. Not that like I said, not one to want to see, but looks like we got number 25. I gotta see Google. But the free throw is good. That's a 2-point game. 7:26 here in the second, and the second free throw attempt is no good, but Leah Boston with the offensive rebound. So now we're going to have a fresh shot clock for the Gamecocks with an opportunity to tie or go ahead here in the second. So now we got zone. Fletcher to the basket. Cannot finish. Offensive rebound goes to the Maryland Terrapins. Now we got a fast break. So Saxon, and that is a turnover on Meyer. Oof. So that's the 7th turnover by the Terrapins compared to the South Carolina 6. So now we got Fletcher. Kind of looks like leading the point here. Gets a screen out in front. Now drawing a double team on the outside. Fletcher now gets it all to number 25. And Fletcher gets it right back to Boston. Now to Beal. Now back to Fletcher. Tough defense by the Terrapins. Tough shot, cannot fall finish. But now here come the Lady Terrapins. Now we got Myers to the basket. And that is kind of holding off. Now, all right, so under 6:20 to go here. They got Myers on the perimeter. Now hands it off to Alexander. A good ball movement, but pulls up for mid-range. That is no good. That is short. Rebound goes to South Carolina. So South Carolina down 2 here in the second quarter. So now we got 25. Okay, drawing the attention of Abby Myers. Now hands it off to Aaliyah Boston. Boston right now with Meyer on top of her. Now hands off to Bree Beal. Beal to Saxon in the post and will draw the contact. And that will be the 4th team foul. And that puts South Carolina in the bonus. So have an opportunity to tie this game with these 2 free throws. So now, Missonius right now, she's also in foul trouble with 2. So we got Saxon to the line for 2. Try to cut into the slate, and looks like we got Alexander. And then we got Alexander coming back for the Terrapins. So right now, both teams. So Maryland 5 for 8 from the line, 4 of 8, and this free throw is she gets the friendly bounce. Oh, that was whoo. So she got the friendly bounce, and the second free throw is no good. But now it's a 1-point game. And now we got almost another Terrapin turnover. Now that's kind of weird as it sounds, but okay. So both teams right now combined 10 for 18 from the free throw line. Myers to the basket and cannot finish. And offensive and rebound goes to Bria Beal. We'll fight for the rebound. About 5:15 remaining here in the second quarter. 1-point game. Now, got 25 drawing the attention. Now hands off to Beal. Now to Boston. Back to Beal. She pulls up for 3. That is no good. Swats back out to number 25 to Boston in the paint. Gets the friendly finish, and that is good for 2. South Carolina retakes the lead, and we get a foul on the floor. Oh, good Lord. That's not what he wanted. And that's 10 points for Leah Boston, but we have an injury timeout right now from the Maryland Terrapins. Yeah, so we're taking an injury timeout right now on the floor while we cut to commercial break. But so far, damn it. Yeah, Key. I mean, like I said, I'm very surprised for a team like Maryland. Now, granted, I'm going to give them more credit where credit is due. You have got someone like Diamond Miller. I think it's a really good roster, though. So far, I mean, by the looks of it. Absolutely. Absolutely, Key. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. And obviously right now I'm on the injury timeout as well. But looking at everything else, you know, like I said, it got an injury timeout. Boston's doing her thing. Already got 10 points. Now, the concern, I won't say the one thing that's not concerning, but I will nitpick a little bit, is the free throws. And that's a good point, too. I think, like I said, that's the one thing that I think South Carolina has beat a lot of teams. Because of the depth on not just the bench depth, it's second. Let's be real, second to none than anybody else. But like I said, the one thing I will nitpick on is missing the free throws. because holy crap, like, dude, y'all missed 5 free throws. Like, you're supposed to be a good free throw shooter. If you're going to be a good team, you got to hit your free throws. I think this is a lot of times. And yes, in Maryland, they got some players in foul trouble. They got Miller, they got Masonius. Oh, God, I apologize for butchering that name, but they also have Alexander with 2 fouls right now. They got like 4 out of their starting 5 with 2 personal fouls. Like I said, yeah, so you got Masonius with 2, Cheyenne Sellis, Jesus, she has not done much early so far through the first half of play. But yeah, I mean, Diamond Miller's already sitting with 2 fouls, and Pinzan, oh Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be having a hard time with these goddamn names. Holy fuck. But right now, as a team right now, jeez, Maryland's right. Like I said, they got 1, 2, they got 3 out of the starting 5 already in foul trouble. And going back to what you said, Keith, get them in foul trouble. I think that's what they've been doing. But unfortunately, like I said, like my point earlier, like not that 5 seconds ago, when I nitpick, make your goddamn free throws. And look, yes, I mean, first of all, like so far you're outscoring the Terrapins 9-2 so far here in this second quarter. But look at the first quarter though. You gave up like I don't know. Remember any games that South Carolina has gave up 20 plus points to set it off in the first quarter. If I'm going to be completely honest, I really do think that. But looking at it, Saxon, I mean, very slow for both of these teams. If I'm going to be completely honest, in terms of scoring, I mean, right now you have Marsh as your leading scorer with Diamond Miller with 5 points, who's the third leading scorer with 5 points. Well, Boston, like I said earlier, the only thing what you can get out of her, she can give you, like I said, 10 plus 10, 15, whatever the case may be, how many points a night she can give you. So it looks like number 24. Okay, let's take it back to the locker room. Oh, that's not good. And to the basket by Myers. Nice pump fake. And we'll get the friendly finish. All right, so South Carolina down 1. So now we got Briel kind of set out to set a screen. We'll get the handoff here. Now gets it right back to 25. Now back to Boston. Now to Cook in the corner. Cook on the baseline gets the friendly layup, and that's good for 2. So 26-25, still in favor of the South Carolina Gamecocks. So here it comes. Oh, tough defense by Boston. We'll have to force a kick out by the Terrapins. And now looks like Meyer, tough jumper. It cannot finish. Like number 25 with the rebound, and tough defense right in front of her face by Abby Meyer. Now we'll hand it off, hand it Bree Saxon right now in the post, and cannot finish, gets her own miss, and will draw the contact. Go to the line for 2. That's a third on Alexander. Like you said, and going back to Keith's point, get Maryland foul trouble. This is what happens. This is how not Maryland, but South Carolina beats teams. They can beat you with the depth. They can get you in a lot of foul trouble. But now we got Victoria Saxon going to the line for 2 free throws. Try to send this lead to 3. So the first one is good. Jeez, can you make both? That would be freaking fantastic. So right now, offensive rebounds, Jesus Christ, 17.9 per game. Hey, there we go. Here we go, not making your free throw. So Boston out to Cookie. Now hands off to number 25. Now trying to direct traffic from the logo on the top of the key. Now it's Bree Beal sets the screen. Now gets the handoff. Back to number 25. Now to Boston in the paint. Now Zaya Cook. Good ball move by the Gamecocks. Tough shot. Good for 2. Oh, God damn it. I don't know why I did that. Boom, boom. Oh, God damn. Okay, so quick ball movement by the Terrapins. Saxon right now with good defense. Now to Myers. Kicks it out for open 3. That is good. catch and shoot. That was Myers again. 12 points already. 2 for 3 from 3. So now we got number 25 now kind of on the outside of the perimeter. Tough defense by Briggs. Now we got Cook right out of the corner. Pulls up for 3. Down it goes for Zia Cook. Zia Cook, like I said, we leave her open. She's gonna eat you alive. And I will say, and that's another thing too. I forgot to mention too. Yeah, don't leave. Oh, good deed. Good. Take it away. Here comes Fletcher too. And we got a foul, and that's going to be on Cook, number 11 from Maryland. And that's the thing too with Zia Cook. She can shoot better than anybody. Well, other than besides Caitlin Clark, but that's a whole another topic of discussion. But regardless, I think in terms of like if she can give you some good shooting, I mean Zia Cook can do that for you. She really can give you what you can get. But right now, South Carolina right now in the bonus with 2:09 remaining. So the first free throw is good. 5-point game. It's a 5-point game right now through so far here in the first half. Because like I said, there's some things I want to talk about during the halftime. Both free throws are good. Thank God for that, because that's one of my things I will nitpick on in halftime. So it's a 14-5 run in the last 6 minutes, 14 seconds for the Gamecocks. So tough defense by Fletcher. Now we got Alexander. Myers will draw the foul, and that's going to be the second team foul on South Carolina. I will say this. But shout out to the 8 total people that's here in the chat, though, man. You guys are new. Welcome, everybody. So, Abby Meyer to the line for 2. Try to cut into this lead. Try to cut it down to 4 for the Gamecocks. And the first free throw is no good. So, Abby Myers for tonight, 12 points, 5 for 9 from the floor. But the rest of the team, 16 points, 5 for 12 from the floor. Oh, jeez. And that is no good. Rebound to Saxon. And now we got number 25. So Saxon tried to set a screen. Now drawing a double team. Now hands off to Boston. Now looks like to Beal. Now back to number 25 with about a minute 35 remaining here in the first half. Now hands it off to Beal. Now to Cook. Zia Cook. She pulls up from mid-range. Cannot finish. She gets her own miss. And we get a foul on the floor. Okay, so that's the third team foul with a minute 25 remaining here in the first half. That affects that scoreboard, though. But shout out to the 12 total people that's in here, man. So looks like Boston to the line for 2. So Boston are right now 10 points, 5 rebounds. And the first free throw is good by Aaliyah Boston. 35-28, still in favor of the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks right now. Right now, sitting at 30-5-0, but shout out to 13, though. And here comes this free throw attempt number 2 by Boston. And it is good. She makes both of her free throws, but here. All right. That's a good point, too. So now looks like we got Cook. Now, kind of hands it up to looks like number 5. We'll draw the attention of. It's like Cook to the basket. Cannot finish. Myers with the rebound and gets blocked from behind. Another block. That's 2 blocks in a row by the South Carolina defense. But now here we go. Under a minute to play. So now we got number 25 at the top of the perimeter. Now when we to the top of the key with Abby Myers right here locking down. And she almost picks her pocket with 45 seconds. Now it gives it up to Fletcher. So that's Cook to Beal. Back to Zia Cook. Cook will step inside the paint, will drive. Tough shot off the glass. Good for 2. Now it's a 10-point lead for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. So a 9-0 run in the last 2.5 minutes. And so looks at Myers trying to get some help on the outside. Side Cook, tough defense on Myers. Now switches to Bria Beal. Now Cook. 5 on the shot clock. Tough defense by Beal. Gets, nice up and under for 2. And ladies and gentlemen, we are at the half. 1 half already in play. So we're at the half. It's an 8-point game. Boom. Let me fix the scoreboard really quick. While we check on that, there's a lot of things I want to kind of talk about so far through 1 half of play. The one thing, like I said, like I talked about earlier, was the miss the free throws, because like I said, I've always been I'm saying like a stickler for that, but I always said, I would say been a kind of say nitpick because of that. But then again, like I said, I'm not a huge stickler for not making your free throws. But like I say, if I think second lineup, if they have not missed some of their free throws, I think the score can have been a lot different than what it has to be. Right now, as my buddy Keen the B building put in the chat, put in the comments. Yeah, that's another thing too. I think that's how South Carolina sometimes can beat you. They can also beat you with a bench depth. They got many ways they can beat you. Now I will say, Maryland, outside of what was the last game that but so far as we're going to the half, we got Masonis right now with 6 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Right now you have 4 out of the 5 in terms of their starting lineup right now in in foul trouble. Outside of Pizan, who's only got 1, and most of this team outside of Myers has not really done much for the Lady Terrapins. I mean, think about Diamond Miller, who I think could be potentially a top, in my honest opinion, from the highlights that I've seen of her, could be a potential top 5 WNBA draft pick. But right now, she's already 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 3 from the floor, with 5 points, 2 rebounds. That's all. This Maryland Terrapins team so far, not just from the eye test. I mean, look, they can pressure, play good defense better than anybody else. But tonight, they've got outscored 23-9 so far, just in the second quarter alone. And that's, I want to say that's, a lot of times too, where I'm thinking I could call for concern and whatnot. But I will say that I think that should be like a topic that needs to be brought up, especially in the halftime lot, and especially right now at the perfect time too. And gets, if you're you're already down, you're down 8. But in the case of South Carolina, though, I would say, try to keep the foot on the gas pedal. It's basically what you have to do, because you cannot let up. It's not, you can't let up in general. That's basically what I'm going for here. But Briggs, though, I mean, when it comes to the bench scoring, yeesh, it is ugly for the Maryland Terrapins right now. Myers right now, like I said, the leading scorer, 14 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. But outside of that, outside of Myers, you really have not much to work with. I mean, as a team, right, they're shooting 75% so far tonight from the free throw line, from 3-point range. But from the free throw line, it's an even 50%, though. Now, for the South Carolina Gamecocks, I will kind of nitpick with them a little bit, too. Aaliyah Boston, like I said, pretty much the leading scorer, 5 for 7 from the floor, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, with 12 points, 1 block, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Saxon, not too shabby, 6 points, 4 rebounds. To go along with that, obviously from 2 or 4. Now, I will say, as a team, they're shooting 62.5% for the free throw line. Now, I will say that a lot of times, I wish that clip could be a little bit higher had they not missed their free throws. You also had, and then also as a team, shoot 40% from behind the arc. And to be quite fair, though, South Carolina, especially the women's team, is not known to shoot the 3 ball. But when the offense gives, or the same when you have like a play call that's calling for one, I mean they don't shoot it on a regular basis, but But like I said, that's something that's not part of their game is the 3-point rate, the 3-point ball, because most of the they will beat you right in the paint, like the old school bully ball, in the way that South Carolina is kind of known to do that, and something that I think Stonsky has really done well during their time with South Carolina too, and Cardoso, I mean, and South Carolina's bench is not that in terms of scoring has not done much, but I think this is where the depth comes in a lot of times with South Carolina, because a lot of times they can really tire you out. And like the one game that I seen was I think against UConn, I think it was, where South Carolina didn't really look good, but the one thing that really helped them, I think, really ride the W to go up to this matchup with Maryland was their bench depth. They can wear you out. And they can just wear you out from the bench. That's just the way that I see it. Like I said, I'm just a general basketball fan. I really don't do women's basketball as much as the next person, but I thought I'd give you, like I said, with the WNBA coming around the corner of the month of May, we're going to get ready for that as well. So, like I said, you're going to be mostly like a lot of Aces games this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun to do that as well. But like I said, in terms of outside of scoring, outside of with Aaliyah Boston and Saxon, Isaiah Cook though 4 for 8 from the floor, 1 from 3 from behind the arc, goes along with 2 rebounds. Unfortunately, right now 2 turnovers, and that's another thing too. As a team combined, you just like that's something I think that the South Carolina has to really work on. I think right now, especially they're going to have a new group of women coming in, especially with most of the seniors kind of leaving. It depends if they decide to declare for the WNBA draft, because like I mentioned before earlier in this stream, was that we saw one declaration to the WNBA draft, and that was Maddie Seegers out of Villanova. Villanova, fell short against the number 9 ranked Miami. Maddie Seegers, I think had a really good game of her final game. Let me take a look. What was it? Let me see something really quick. Give me 1 second, guys, because I can't think. Did they play earlier today, or that was it yesterday, or the day before? Someone's got to let me know, because I'm a little bit off today in terms of my knowledge right now. It had to been Sunday. Well, as I said, we're still in the halftime, but let me see. Iowa, no. It might have been Saturday, because okay. Oh boy! But shout out to the 9 though, man. Shout out to the 4 actually come from the All Star Sports Network. Welcome everybody. Just welcome everybody where you're watching. If you're coming from my channel, the All Star Sports Network, all that good stuff. Because we're coming to you live as well from Let's Talk Sports and the Hardcore Sports as well. Like I said, we'll do a lot more. Well, okay, I'll screw this. Let me take a look. Not just checking on ESPN, but like I said, the thing is too. We saw like I mentioned, Maddie Seegers. I think of the way how I could describe her in a very short time, very short sample size. I can see out of her was that she can give you. She's not just a pure scorer, but she could also, sitting against I think it was 6'2", she can block shots too. A lot of times. So about 3 o'clock this afternoon, like I said, Seegers decides to, declare for the draft at WNBA draft, and unfortunately they lose by 5 to the Miami Hurricanes, which is very unfortunate. The number 9 ranked. So obviously for Miami, that was their first trip to the Elite 8, and unfortunately, they pretty much ran into a powerhouse. Obviously, a powerhouse of the SEC. That is also LSU. As a team, though, when I'm looking at between Villanova and Miami, it is different. So Miami, as a team, from field goal percentage at 45.6% to 36.5% for Villanova from 3. Yikes. Villanova shot 12.5% from three compared to the 30% from three for the Miami Hurricanes. Now the turnovers. Now that's something I know you don't want to be in that category. Right now, Villanova pretty much did okay handling the basketball with 11 turnovers compared to the Miami's 21. Now rebounds, yeah, my Lady Wildcats got out rebounded by 9. I would say, obviously not to death, but regardless. But outside of that, man, it's it's a good run though for my Villanova Wildcats. I mean, went 30-7 so far overall. But regardless, like I said, beggars can't be choosers. And I mean, look, you can win games, lose games, and stuff like that. But that's just the way that I look at it. But I mean, look, I really can't really say much. But like I said, it's a good run though by my Lady Wildcats is all I'm going to say. But right now, South Carolina, for those who are just coming in, South Carolina is up 8 here at the half. With Masonia, I would say 4 out of the starting 5 for the Maryland Terrapins are right now in current foul trouble. That's Masonia, Sellers, Miller, and Myers, who's pretty much Myers right now. They're currently leading scorer of 14 points, and and Boston, and it's kind of I would say interesting, but I will say it was very surprising to see a team like Maryland. Now, granted, no slouch to them either. They went 28-6 overall, and they're the number 2 seed right now, coming from the Big Ten. And the fact that they're even so far through one quarter, right now 2 quarters of play actually. But I think after the first quarter though, they really pushed, really tested. I would say really tested the South Carolina, and UConn was no slouch either from South Carolina either. But yeah, so we're seeing some really good teams that maybe people might think are not good, but like from the eye test though, they really it's really not surprising, but it is kind of, I would say, in a way, I would say intriguing to see someone a team like Maryland kind of push around South Carolina, even though the fact that South Carolina has got most of their starters in foul trouble, and that's something to keep an eye out on. And Boston, like I mentioned before, projected to be number 1 overall pick, mostly by the Indiana Fever, which now I will say, come to the NBA draft, like I said, I will be doing the live stream for that as well. If the Fever do somehow fuck this up, because remember, look at last year, the Indiana Fever was absolutely hot garbage. I'm sorry, Fever fans. I'm really being honest. Like, if you look at some of the talent that was on some of these teams last year in the WNBA, and the fact that they stunk it up, well, not as bad as the Indiana Fever, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Like the Minnesota Lynx, you had some really good talent on that roster, but for some reason the record has not really shown, for that, if that makes sense. Because, like, for me, being like I said, a short-time Aces fan, but I will say, and that's the thing, too. That's the one thing, too. If anyone wants to get into, do WNBA live play-by-play, sometimes it's going to be the name's going to be hard to remember. But what I normally would do is I highly recommend, if you have 2K stuff like that, try the WNBA thing on my league, because that's kind of how I kind of got more familiar with the Aces roster. Now, granted, the Aces roster, I think on 2K23 is a little bit different than what the roster is now, because obviously Liz Cambage is no longer with the Aces and probably no longer in the league, regardless. But I will say, that's kind of how I kind of learned how to get really familiar with the roster and see who's who. Now the bench this year for this upcoming season, it's going to be a little bit interesting because knowing that we lost some key pieces. Teresa Plaisance was pretty decent, for a bench player. Sure, I mean I'll give her that. I mean she'll give you, I guess, 5-10 plus points off the bench if you really need it. Now, this year, we're definitely going to see I guess this is the first time seeing 2 super teams, which is the New York Liberty and the Aces. Now, you may think to yourself, why do you think there's going to be 2 super teams? Well, if you looked at what the Aces have done, now granted, minus all the little shit that they've gone through with the Garrett Hamby when before all that shit went down. We also picked up Candace Parker in free agency, so that was something to see. And obviously, we had to replace some bench pieces here and there, and same with New York and the New York Liberty. Now, Liberty last season was actually not terrible. Actually, they were been a solid team in the East. But I think now having someone like Breanna Stewart, which very surprising that she left the Seattle Storm, was a interesting move to say the least. But I will say interesting, but it was surprising nonetheless. But yeah, that's the way I looked at it. But I'm gonna check some of the rest of the guys. But yeah, so oh god, oh my back. But yeah, but like I said, later on tomorrow, I am going to be live for my birthday for a little bit. And to be fair though, I am going to say, like I said, outside of that birthday stream I have at 3:00 Eastern time, I'm pretty much going to be off YouTube for a good bit of while. Going to be I'm saying I'm going to be very. But yeah, maybe that's just me, man. But regardless, I really do, and like I said, I really do enjoy doing this for y'all. I mean, for me, I not just for y'all, but just for myself in general. Because I just feel like for me, I think once you got to get to know me a lot more, like you kind of know the kind of person I am. Because like I said, I'm not the kind of person who will put on a fake persona, all that shit. And to be fair, yeah, it's oh God, my fuck. All right, looks okay. Wow. Okay, so we're already back from halftime. All right, damn. And again, though, let me get this banner off my screen. Oh, tough shot cannot fall for South Carolina, but here we go on a 3-on-1 or 2-on-1 fast break, and that is good for 2. Oh boy, the Diamond Miller got a quick bucket. So we got Fletcher drawing a double team. Can now hands it off to Saxon. Now to Boston. So backward via. Oh jeez. Okie dokie. South Carolina defense right now. Miller to the basket, and that is going to be out of bounds. All right. He kicks it out. Like Fletcher now looks like Beal. He drives to the basket. Shipped away. Now here we're going on a 2-on-1 fast break. Pulls up for 2. That can't finish. Boston with the rebound. So Leah Boston right now. Key catch, and that is no good, but Saxon gets her own miss to Boston. Easy touch, good for 2. And it's now back to an 8-point game for the South Carolina Gamecocks. So under 8.5 to play. Now quick hand up to Diamond Miller. Boston on top of her. Now drawing and tough shot, can't finish. And Blossom blocks it. And now here comes Fletcher leading the charge for the Gamecocks. Now hands up to Zaya Cook. Cook out to Beal. Now Beal now to Boston. Boston now right in the paint. Tough shot off the glass. Good for 2. Back to a 10-point game. And that is going to be a timeout. Looks like by Maryland by the looks of it. And that will cut us to commercial break, though. So obviously South Carolina, a little bit slow out of the gate, out of halftime, but still managed to keep that, as you can say, fill the rhythm, so to speak. But regardless, they do right now. up to a 10-point lead. But shout out to, like I said, shout out to everyone that's been coming in, hanging out with me. But I will say this. One thing too you don't really want to see is to, I would say, not fall behind, especially in South Carolina standards. But that's just me. Well, that's just me, man. That is just me. Let me check to see how. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But shout out to appreciate everyone who's coming in, support and stuff like that. That really does mean a lot, though. Especially for me and my buddy Tyler's new network for not the Hardcore Sports, but the All Star Sports Network as well. Guys, I hit that subscribe button over there. Make sure to check the link in the description or in the pinned comment, and make sure, because we right now. Damn. Alrighty. Alright. But yeah. Everyone's doing the good old time. But outside of that, man, it's been something else. But right now we're coming back from commercial break. So we've got under 8 minutes to play here in the third. South Carolina already up 10, 42-32. With 7:56 remaining here in the third. Obviously, like I said, I pretty much covered everything in this stream. Oh boy, yeah. So Leah Boston, 45% blocks of her blocks in transition, 41 out of bounds. Opposition retains at 14%. Damn it! So it looks like at number 8 will get tripped up out of bounds, but still that's going to be the first foul on South Carolina here in the third. So Aaliyah Boston so far in her career, and so she has 329 career blocks, which is 6th in SEC history. And that's Miller. Oh, good putback. So now cuts it down to 8. So now we got Isaiah Cook. Okay, now looks like not tough double team kicks it out to Saxon. Now to Cook. She pulls up for 3. Oh, it just cannot get the finish. And that's going to be off the back of her own teammate. And that's going to be South Carolina basketball. So South Carolina defense has held every opponent below the scoring average. Opposing scoring averages over just barely over 20 points per game against South Carolina. And Boston good for 2. And Boston right now puts it up by 10 again. And that's going to be out of bounds. Maryland basketball. So Boston, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. Well, you better keep your fingers crossed on that one, Arku. I will say that. And that is good for 2. The Maryland right now still not playing from behind under 7 minutes to play. So now we got Beal. Now looks like the Fletcher trying to tough defense right on top of her on the side of the perimeter. Fletcher, nice bounce pass to Boston, who's got already 18 points. Now trying to get a handle, cannot. Gets it to Saxon. It gets blocked. And that's picked away by Fletcher. And that's good for 2. Or is that Isaiah Cook? My apologies. Isaiah Cook with a nice pickpocket to put it back to 10. So that's 11 points for Isaiah Cook so far tonight. And we get an offensive foul on Maryland. And I feel a little bit of, obviously that pickpocket is kind of helped by Victoria Saxon at the same time. Let me sync up the game clock to 6 minutes, 18 seconds. 6 minutes, 18 seconds. Okay, so now we get it. Oh. There we go. So we get now. And that's going to be a quick foul on Maryland. That is going to be their second here in the third. That's going to be second team foul, and that's the third on Myers. That's something like I mentioned at halftime, and same with Key though. And it looks like Cookie trying to get it set, but not sure that was for Fletcher. And there's another foul. That is the fourth. That's the fourth personal on Myers. That's the 13th foul. Oh, good Lord. Oh, boy. Let's see. I can't tell. Yeah, I couldn't tell from that angle. So Myers really in terrible foul trouble. Now we're going to inbound to Cookie. And that's almost another South Carolina first turnover here in the second half. And Cook now to Saxon. And that's going to be another. So Sellers with her third personal. So 2-3 zone game being called right now. Now we get an inbound to Boston. Now it's that's short, but here comes Cook driving up the baseline. A tough shot, good for 2 by Isaiah Cook. 48-36. Damn. And that's going to be the second foul. So Diamond Miller, oh boy. So Miller to the line for 2 with 5 minutes, 25 seconds here in the third. And the first free throw is good by Miller. And both free throws are good. All right, so now I got Cook. Now it scrapes a couple of the defense down to Fletcher. Fletcher back to Cook. Now to Boston. Boston outside to Beal. Now Boston gets the handoff or gets the ball back. Tough defense. And Boston, she pulls up for 3. That is short. And that is going to be Maryland basketball. Oh, so still holding 10 over the Maryland Terrapins, who right now in foul trouble. A lot of foul trouble, you know. But South Carolina fans, I mean, guys must be very happy, especially how this team has kind of played out so far. Right now, here in the first half with under 5 minutes to play. Like I said, I think that's kind of one of the keys that my buddy Key in the building said. The one thing that the South Carolina does really well is try to get Maryland in foul trouble, which they have done for most of this game through almost 3 quarters of through 2.5 quarters of play, I should say. But you already have some of your key stars already in foul trouble. Abby Miller, or Meyer, I should say. Myers with 4 personal fouls. You have Cheyenne Sellers with 3. I mean, you pretty much have everybody else like with 1 or 2, but still. That's the one thing that I think South Carolina has been very known to do, is actually beat you by getting in foul trouble. And also, too, like I said, with the bench step as well. But the way that how everything has kind of been playing out for South Carolina, wasn't terrible. But I will say, that's something that's... But, yeah, man, it's been interesting, to say the least. But regardless, it's what it is. You know what I mean? And damn it. Damn, I cannot. This cough is really starting to... This cough's kind of pissing me off right now. Oh, shit. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's been in the chat, though, or just tuning in, whether you're coming from Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all that good stuff. I appreciate that as well. That really does mean a lot, though. But regardless, I mean, with college basketball still kind of going on a little bit, they'll do something a little different. But yeah, so I mean, it's something. It's been not terrible, but I mean, so far though, man, just pretty much everything has kind of really been honestly been pretty good so far through college basketball. Before the men's and the women's. And outside of that, man, I mean, right? So I got nothing else to complain about other than the fact that, but yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Appreciate everyone who's coming in, though, whether coming from, like I said, from YouTube and stuff like that. Damn it! Damn. Yeah, so later on tonight, you have the Ohio State and Virginia Tech coming up later on tonight. So key severe from Debbie for the Hokies and taking on the Buckeyes. So Virginia Tech established Kitley no live ball turnovers. So Ohio State defend the 3 and play free basketball. That's pretty much about it. But so we got 4:54 remaining. South Carolina right now up 10 with under 5 minutes to play. Yeah, ain't that a good point by the Okay, so now we're gonna inbound. Here we go. Damn it, I cannot see what the damn. So now we got Miller. Oh, almost lost the basketball there. Now it looks like to Masonius, and that's gonna be good for 2. And that is up and in for the Terrapins. Now it's an 8-point game. So now we got number 25. Now with tough defense on her at half court. Now we got Cook now coming in. Oh, nice pass to Carmoso. Now to Boston. She pulls up for a mid-range 2. Cannot fall through on that shot. So rebound. Here comes the Diamond Miller in the post. Tough shot. Up and under. That is good for 2 by Diamond Miller. Now it's a 6-point game. So now we got Cook. Now back to number 25. And to Cook on the perimeter. Now to Carmoso for 3. Yes, that is good for 3 by South Carolina. And that was Johnson on the 3. Seller cannot finish. Looks like she might have gotten her hand. Look at Boston got a piece of it. And Cook. And that's going to be South Carolina basketball with 3:27 remaining here in the third as well. I thought Cook looked like thought Isaiah Cook got fouled, but now we got Johnson inbounder for the Lady Gamecocks. Now hands it. Oh, nice pass to Carmoso, and we'll draw the contact and go to the line for 2 for a 3-point play for Camilla. Carmilla Carmoso with 3:26 remaining here. Hey, shout out to the 16 though. Shout out to everyone that's coming in, man. Been very good game so far. So far this half, anyways. Because and Carmoso cannot get the 3-point play to finish. So here we go, 53-42. So now we got Miller kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. Now hands it off to Sellers. So right now at the top of the key, withdrawing the attention of Zaya Cook on the key. Now back to number 5 for a 3. That is a deep 3. That is good. 53-45. And now we got Johnson. Now to Cook. Cook now drawing the double team. Now gets up to Johnson. Now Johnson trying to find open traffic. Trying to direct traffic on the top of the key. Now gets to Carmoso. Carmoso out. Nice ball move. Cook in the corner for 3. Down it goes for Zaya Cook. So that is 16 points for Zaya Cook. Sellers for 3. That is way off the mark. Zaya Cook with the rebound, and that's going to be a clear path foul. And that's going to put them in the bonus for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Shout out to the 14 total people. Shout out to the 8 from the network, though. If you guys are new, make sure you hit the like button and hit that subscribe button down below. And check out, we can say we got a lot more content coming to y'all on the All-Star Sports Network as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of some good content coming out, especially with the summertime coming around, and obviously with MLB baseball coming around. So you're gonna see a lot more MLB content here from me, anyways. But the first free throw by Cook, it is good by Zaya Cook. So 57-45, under 2.5 to play here in the third, and both free throws are good by Zaya Cook. All right, now here comes Sellers. So South Carolina, 128-8 in the last 4 seasons. Good God. Then again, they've been one of the most dominant teams of the SEC. Miller can't get that scoop and score to go. Johnson with number 25 with the rebound. But here comes Johnson, lead of the charge. Johnson to the basket, cannot finish. Offensive rebound goes to Carmoso. Kicks it out to number 23. Now Johnson gets the handoff. Under 2 minutes to play. 2 minutes. Oh, and Carmoso right on the baseline. Tough shot. Under scoop. Wow, tough scoop and score. That is 60 points overall for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks for Carmoso. You just don't think look, good defense on that, but that's a tough scoop and score. And most of the South Carolina crowd's getting rowdy with 1:36 remaining here in the third. Ooh, okay. Shout out to everybody, though, man. Shout out to every single one of y'all that's been in the chat, though. So we got 1:36. Scores right now, 60-45 for those who are just coming in as well. So Dawn Staley doing a lot of good stuff for this Lady Gamecocks team. Right now, like I said, what's at stake right now is a trip to the Final Four, and also, too, for the South Carolina Gamecocks, try to keep that undefeated streak alive. So, Camilla Carmoso right now, first in opposing points per game. Oh, man, he has something. Letitia Amma here and Victoria Saxon, they have done a really good job with the defensive end of that floor for So now we got Sellers to the baseline, kicks it out. That's to Miller, or sorry, that's Myers, or sorry, that's Diamond Miller to the basket with Amma here. Tough, easy 2. Yeah, that's easy for Maryland to get off from the mid-range. But regardless, still 60-47. That was Lavender Briggs. Already 5 points so far for her tonight. That's about to be under a minute to play here. I know my scoreboard's a little bit, or my score count thing. Scoreboard's going to be a little bit under. Oh, nice pass to Carmoso. Cannot finish, and offensive and rebound back to Carmoso. Very nice. So now we got Johnson. Now kind of direct traffic here in the third. With now. Oh, with a nice 2. 19-second chance. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, both the leads. Oh, nice. 3 cannot fall, but here comes Zaya Cook. She's late in the fast break, and now she gets her pocket picked. But now here comes the Terrapins on the 2-on-1. Summers for 3. Down it goes. So that was Lavender Breaks on the 3. So he's already 2 for 3 from behind the arc. Cook for 3. Oh, cannot get that to fall. And ladies and gentlemen, the third quarter comes to a close. And South Carolina giving them really trying to run away with this a little bit. So for the final 10 minutes we go here, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 62-50 game here in the Elite 8 between the South Carolina Gamecocks, the number 1 seed, taking on the number 2 seed Maryland Terrapins. Like I appreciate everyone who's coming through tonight for some Elite 8 action. Like I said, later on tonight, you had the Ohio State Buckeyes take out the Virginia Tech Hokies. But yeah, and that's a good point too, Jared. You know, that the fact that the Maryland Terrapins, especially the first half, gave, I would say give, South Carolina a run for their money. I will agree to that for sure. But, a lot of times too, and also too, there's a lot of, I would say, I think the turnovers right now is what's kind of keeping most of this intact. Mostly for South Carolina, anyways. Obviously, like I said, South Carolina already has got most of the Maryland's players right now in foul trouble right now, which is something I think that's, I think if you have not really watched South Carolina women's basketball, I think that's what they're kind of known for to do. But regardless, I will give Maryland some credit, though. Can't discredit them. They got some really good talent, though. I mean, you got Diana Miller, who could potentially be a top 5, WNBA draft prospect, depending if she does declare. But for those who are just coming in, we just see one declaration to the WNBA draft, and that was Maddie Segrist from Villanova, who unfortunately, fell a little bit short against the numbers ranked Miami. And, turnovers, absolutely. Because like I said, I don't really do college basketball as much, because even though it's kind of like the last thing I want to do, but no one, especially this time of year, no one kind of want to see more of, I got like an Aaliyah Boston, Diamond Miller. I really got to see Haley Jones. Stanford, from what I've heard, Stanford kind of shit the bed a little bit badly in this tournament. But Caitlin Clark, though, she's another one I'm going to have to keep my eye on for next year, because at some point I really hope she does declare for the WNBA draft, because that is one hell of a talent that Iowa has over there. At the same time, and it's been pretty interesting so far for a lot of teams so far in this Elite 8 so far. But shout out to the 16 that's in the 16 total viewers in here, though. And shout out to the 8 that's coming from the All-Star Sports Network as well. Like, I greatly appreciate that for some college basketball action. Well, that's another thing too with Dawn Staley. Like, she doesn't take any shit. And that's another thing, and that's what I like about Dawn Staley. Like, if you fuck up something, she will let you know about it. But then again, that's the kind of the South Philadelphia in her. God damn it, ESPN's really pissing me off a little bit. But alrighty, so far South Carolina tonight, 19 offensive rebounds and 19 second chance points. And that's something Key also mentioned else too. That's something else, and South Carolina can also beat you on the glass. So South Carolina right now seeking their third straight NCAA Final Four appearance. Because the last time they've been in the Final Four was when they won it in 2022. All right, we're going to get inbound to Maryland. All right, we're underway. Final 10 minutes here in the Elite 8. So Friday night. And that is good. Wow, tough shot. Cut down to 10 for the Maryland Terrapins. So here comes Johnson taking it up the court. Now hands it up. That's number 23. Can't find a shot. Goes back to Raymond to Johnson. And now out to I can't see that number because I did. So Boston now off to 23 to the basket. We'll get blocked up top. Carmoso with a putback. Good for 2 by Camila Carmoso. Another one I think she's going to be very underrated. I would say so Myers, Sellers, Masonius, and Miller right now are in the top foul trouble. Sellers good for 2. So now we've got about 9 minutes remaining here. And that is good for like 2. Holy. And not playing around. So trading baskets here in the 4th. Miller cannot get that scoop and score. Cardoso eats the floor, but still get the offensive rebound for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. So we got Johnson right now. Now try to set up offensive play calling here. And Johnson now to 23. She pulls up for behind the arc. Down it goes for South Carolina. 69-54. Here we go. This is what happens when a team like cannot let some of these players, especially on South Carolina, get open from 3. And that is good for 2. But however, we get a 3-point play coming up for the Maryland Terrapins. With 8:09 remaining here in the 4th, I should say. My apologies. Damn it. Well, Sellers right now, obviously, like I said, the first half has not done shit for the Maryland Terrapins, but finally got some of her points, I should say, so far here in the second half. But the 3-point play is good. So 69-57, still in favor of the South Carolina Gamecocks. So now we got Johnson. Now hands it off to number 23. Back to Johnson. So Johnson right now kind of directing traffic. Tough defense. Will almost like draw a double team to Carmoso. Now hands it off. Just like to Beal. Now, Carmoso, nice under the scoop and score. Good for 2. 71-57, still in favor of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Nice assist to Camila Cardoso. Right now, already 8 points, 4 of 7 from the floor. And that's Sellers to Briggs. Top 2, cannot finish. Offensive rebound, cannot finish. Boston fights for the rebound. And that Johnson now to Beal. Beal now drives to the basket. Cannot finish, but then there's going to be a foul on the play. So it'll be 2 free throws coming up for South Carolina. And Abby Morris has fouled out with 14 points. So Abby Morris her night is done. It's very unfortunate on how your night's going to end like that. And then Beal for the first free throw, it is good. 72-57. South Carolina still leads over the Maryland Terrapins. Yeah, I mean, and cannot get the friendly roll, but 1 or 2 from the line goes Beal. No, nice to Miller or Sellers. Tough shot, and that's going to be a blocking foul, and that's going to be 2 free throws coming for the Terrapins. And that's going to be the second team foul on South Carolina. Oh, and yeah, good point. And it's getting obviously a little bit chippy. So we got warnings issued on the 2 captains on South Carolina and Maryland, ladies and gentlemen. So the first free throw, it is good. It's 72-58. But shout out to the 17 that's in this building, man. It's been fantastic. Y'all been fantastic tonight. Both free throws are good. So now we get an inbound to Johnson. Now here comes Beal. Now to Johnson. So that's Johnson kind of trying to. And tough defense by Maryland. Looks like full, almost half court. And we get a foul on the floor. That might be the second on. So Don Staley, actually, my apologies, takes the timeout with 6:48 remaining here in the fourth. Okay, dokie. All right, that takes us to a commercial break. So, appreciate everyone who's came in. If you guys are new, welcome everybody. We're down to the last under 7 minutes to play here in the fourth. Looks like most likely second line is definitely going to move on to their third straight NCAA Final Four appearance, where I think they're most likely going to meet. They're going to meet Iowa, and that's going to be. I really hope that's going to be a good game, though. But shout out to everybody, though. If you guys are new, welcome everybody. Appreciate everyone who came around. Just hang out and stuff like that. Kind of did a little chit chat in the comments, which is fantastic. Which is, fantastic for us. Appreciate having some new people coming around and finding us. But yeah, man. Hey, shout out! I appreciate that, Charles. Like I said, I'm not a huge. I don't do these often, but when I get a chance to do it, screw it. I say fuck it. Take that up on the opportunity, and try to get. Like I said, right now the name is a little bit hard to understand. So, especially for Maryland, anyways. But yeah. But Friday night, goodness gracious, that is going to be something to watch out for. But yeah, but first, for those who are just coming in, like I said, I appreciate no matter where you're coming from. But shout out to you, Charles, coming from the Bahamas, which is fantastic, as well. Damn it! There we go. But regardless, I think that overall though it's been a very good game so far, and yeah, and so far this has been good. This game has been kind of enjoyable. Now, granted, there were some spots where it's just been iffy. Not just for Maryland, but for both teams in general. To be fair, though, alrighty. Well, yeah, shout out to still holding 13 strong coming up in here. But the next 24 minutes, we have Virginia Tech and Ohio State coming up live on ESPN. So Friday night, so it's most likely it's going to be LSU, or the winner of that game will face LSU at Friday at 7:00, and then you have Iowa. So it'll be South Carolina and Iowa at 9:00 Eastern time for the Final Four. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close towards the end. Now we're going to get it, Johnson. All right, so Johnson to inbound it. Now inbounds it to Boston. For three, down it goes. This game is pretty much done and over with, pretty much. But that was Beal on the three. 9 points already. So for three by Maryland, cannot finish. Aaliyah Boston with the rebound. Now hands off to number 23. But now here comes Johnson now taking it up for the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered this game. Even though it's still, we got still some time. Now to Boston. Boston out. Oh, wow. To Johnson. Oh, nice to Caruso under the basket. Cannot finish. Boston put back. Good for two. Very nice by Leah Boston. Already, it looks like already a double-double tonight for Leah Boston. Leah Boston, 20 points, 10 boards. And good contested shot, and that's going to be good for 2. So 77-61. That's her 82nd career double-double for Leah Boston tonight. Now we got Johnson. Now coming, try to get some help. Gets to the Boston. Oh, Boston almost got fouled. And now hands it back off to Johnson. He'll drive up to the basket. Oh, and that's off the hands of Carmoso, and that's going to be turned over by the Gamecocks. Ugh. Nice. Oh, I thought it could have potentially had a 4-point play on her hands, but it wasn't the case. But now we got Miller. Oh, wow. Find an open lane. Good for 2 by Diamond Miller. No, absolutely not. Because you just went, oh, boy, that was just terrible. But now we got Beal. Beal goes around, kind of puts the brakes on it, hands off to Boston. And we'll draw the contact. And that looks like that might be the second foul on Maryland. Maryland already drawing their second team foul here in the 4th. Okay, so let me get my clock synced up right now. All right, so we got now to Carmoso. Now we got Cook. Now to Boston. Boston, tough 2. Good for 2 by Aaliyah Boston. 22 points for Aaliyah Boston. So 4:35 remaining. So we got Miller now directing traffic for the Maryland Terrapins. Locked on by Johnson, or is that number 23? That could be John. That's picked away by Beal, and here comes her solo fast break, and we'll draw the contact, and that was going to go to the line for 2 for the South Carolina Gamecocks. 3 Beal. She's something else, man. She's going to be another one. All right. So Leah Boston, it looks like her night is done. And the first free throw was no good by Bree Beal. So 1 of 2 from the free throw line for Bree Beal. So winner is most likely is going to be South Carolina to take on Iowa Friday night. And for 3, that is too strong. Rebound chased down by number 23. Now gives to the Bree Beal. Now to Johnson. Or was that Zaya Cook, actually. My apologies. So we got Zaya Cook. Under 4 minutes to play. And we got Cook kind of literally running out the clock a little bit here. Switch a couple defenders to the basket. And, no, I have a couple other guys holding down Raw for me. Oh, wow. No, tough 2, but that is good for 2. 80-65. So they got that's Beal. 21 points for Diamond Miller, 8 from 15 from the floor, and that's going to be another foul on Maryland. That's going to be another Maryland personal foul. So how to beat Iowa, according from Debbie Antonelli, attacking side, you have to close out on limit Caitlin Clark's vision, be physical on the glass, and the mental toughness. Because let's be real, Caitlin Clark is no goddamn slouch. Oh, that is good for 2. So South Carolina right now, 41 straight games on the line. I am doing WrestleMania Night 1 this weekend. Yes, I am. Oh, that is good for 2. Yes, I am, Scoobs. Yeah, actually, I'm doing WrestleMania Night 1. And Beal to the basket, off the glass, and the three-point play. And that's pretty much all signed, sealed, and delivered for the South Carolina Gamecocks to face off against the Iowa Hawkeyes and to kick off the Final Four. My goodness. All right. All right, but shout out to the 21 that is up in here, man. Appreciate everyone coming in, man. If guys are new, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button over on the All-Star Sports Network as well. The link is in the description or in the pinned comment as well. Because we are trying to grow me and Tyler are trying to grow our new network right now. If you guys want to be a part, want to be because like I said, we have exciting content coming to the network itself. But now, like I said, stay tuned for that, especially with the with the summertime coming along. We got MLB baseball coming up and the WNBA as well in the month of May, so that's gonna be fantastic. We got a good slate up lineup of games and good shows and stuff like that. So it's gonna be fun. So you guys don't want to miss out on the content. And Carmoso with a nice offensive board. Cannot forget that. Swatted right back into the hands of Maryland. Just a little bit too strong. Good for 3. That is no good. A rebound to Carmoso and will draw the contact. And that's going to be the 5th team foul on. And that was on Sellers. Good Lord. So Sellers right now, like I said, one of the 4. Well, obviously, with one of 3 actually in foul trouble since Abby Myers did foul out so far tonight. So Bree Beal to the line for 2. And the first free throw, it is good. 85-67. Still, South Carolina still leads over the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland, not looking great if you're a Terrapins fan. And both free throws are good, and we get a timeout on the floor right now. And obviously, we get a huge round of applause to the part of the last senior 5. So it looks like all of the starters are going to be off the floor for the South Carolina Gamecocks. GG's to the Maryland Terrapins, who gave the South Carolina a bit of a run for their money in the first half. And now, looks like to the basket. That is good for 2, but really not really going to help their case. So now we got Zaya Cook. Now hands off to Johnson. Now taking it up for the Gamecocks here. With about 2 minutes to go here. And Johnson with tight defense in her face. Now hands off to Zaya Cook. Cook now we still have on the floor with the Victoria Saxon. Got Camila Carmoso. And look at Letitia Abbey here right now on the floor. Cook for 3. That is no good. Nice offensive rebound. Cannot chase it down. And here's Diamond Miller. Now with 21 points. She steps back for 3. Down it goes for Diamond Miller, and we get a timeout on the floor. She's another one like Diamond Miller. Like I said, from the highlights that I've seen of her, I think she'd be a possibility to be a top 4, top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. Oh, tough shot by Letitia Hammy here. Gets her own miss by Zaya Cook. Cook can't put it back up. Nice another offensive rebound, and that is blocked. But now here comes Maryland. Taking it up. Sellers for three. That is no good. Rebound goes to Johnson. So 36 wins. That would be a new school record for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And we're going to have some substitutions coming up with a 1 minute, 9 seconds remaining here in the third, or in the fourth, I should say. Just, man, South Carolina, they did all they could to steal this win. Obviously, not a terrible start, but it was a very slow, ugly start for them in the first half. But regardless, they still, pretty much what they need to do. It's just beat ass and just be done with that at the end of the day. I feel for Diamond. And Diamond Miller, man, ends her night on 24 points, 9 of 16 from the floor. That's taken away. Now we're going to fast break by the Terrapins, and that three is good. So 86-75 still in favor of the Thompson. Cannot hit the three, but rebound by Emmett here. Now and just lay out the clock. Three again, can't fall. So we got Maryland. And it looks like we get a timeout here with so 26.1 remaining here in the fourth. Good season by the Maryland Lady Terrapins. I mean, I really do feel for the players, man. That the fact that if you're a senior and you want to end, that's not the way you don't want to end your career off. Trust me, I know that feeling. Let me fix the game clock. So if it's going to be Friday night, South Carolina and Iowa will go at it to kick off the Final Four of the NCAA Women's March Madness Tournament. And South Carolina is going to win it 86-75. And South Carolina, so that will do it. So South Carolina, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than the fact, congrats to the South Carolina State on being also really good season by the Maryland Terrapins. Not the way that they're. I want to see some of these seasons want to end out that way. Because trust me, from personal experience, when you're in your final season at it, like in school and whatnot, it's something that's, that's kind of close to me. That kind of it's a bit of a that kind of hits home with me. But I thought Diamond Miller looked really good. Potential, like I said, potentially be a top 5 WNBA draft pick. Then there's got Maddie Seeger is going to be a part of y'all in that draft class as well. Maryland, I have to give Maryland credit where credit is due. They really did push, even though it's just the first half, they really did push Maryland, or not Maryland, but South Carolina to the fullest, I would say. But outside of that, man, congrats, like I said, congrats to the South Carolina Gamecocks to stay unbeaten. It's going to be a little bit of a different look, I would say, going into next year, knowing that you have your seniors leaving. But regardless, if you're a Maryland fan, you guys give it a good fight, though. I will give you that. I mean, and that's the thing, too, with South Carolina. They can beat you in many different ways. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, I really like what I saw so far from Maryland. Now the one thing I won't say one issue, but the one thing I will nitpick on is try not to foul so much, because that's where they ran into trouble, especially against a team like South Carolina, who has been notoriously known to beat you through foul trouble in a way. And congrats, like I said, congrats to the South Carolina moving on to the Final Four. Like I said, I think I said this one time on stream, or I think off stream actually. I said South Carolina actually winning the entire thing, because I really do think they're the most complete team in this tournament. Now, would there be an upset? Sure. I mean, we have seen that in the, well, especially the men's side of things, because, man, thank God I didn't do a bracket this year because, like I mentioned, the men's really were very busted. But like I said, appreciate anyone who came into the chat, though, where you coming from. If you guys are new, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to every single one of y'all that's hung out with me tonight for some college basketball action for the March Madness tournament. Now we're starting to the Final Four coming Friday. Unfortunately, I will not be available for that. But with MLB coming on the way, you'll see, like I said, you see a lot more MLB content coming as well. And outside of that, I got nothing else to add. Shout out to the, whoever came in. Shout out to every single one of y'all. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.